Hey everybody, Asher here, and welcome back to Roadwarden, where we have a lot of things that we definitely can do. We have a pouch of 7 coins as well, so we have a little bit of money to our name. We have a few good items in our inventory, some things that we can definitely work with. And I really want to, let's see, we have some goals that are available in front of us. There's the whole business here at White Marshes. Howler's Dell certainly has some stuff going on with their mayor. There's a rock slide to the west of it that I need to figure out what I want to do. There's Old Pagos that apparently can be solved via the Beholder, but that doesn't even get to the whole 10,000 10,000 pound gorilla in the room, which is that we have a path here that is the only explorable place on the map, and it may be close to time to do that. So we're going to be kind of working our way to the east. We've been to the Dolmen. We've done pretty well there. We need to get our fishing trap from the fallen tree here. So let's start there and see if there's anything new over here. We'll have to work our way around the tree, but let's see if the fishing trap, we got 3 fish this time. I'm going to set the fishing trap again. Can't talk. We're not going to wash in the river here. We've had our hypothesis clue style about what happened here with the invasion and everything else. But one of the goals that we have, if we look at our journal here real quick, is to figure out the whole eastern road here. And I hate that, apparently we've completed some quests. Those are why those are down here. But wants to get to western crossroads and southern crossroads, do as much as I can to make them secure. So we do need to kind of investigate this place step by step. We won't be able to do it today, but maybe we can do it tomorrow. So let's go ahead. We have the abandoned watchtower here. I do want to go to the secluded residence here. We do have, she's been, I forget what name she was referred to, and I hate that I don't know this. I wait for as long as it takes to let me in here. It's getting colder, but soon find the monster's eyes grow red. Go inside. I'll be with you soon. The monster's eyes darken again soon after you hear heavy steps. So let's go inside and see. We have a bigger place to see here. It's nice that we get bigger pictures sometimes. The gate opens violently and rebounds with a loud thud, almost closing again. The creature in front of you is made of floating rocks that appear to be connected. But it's just an illusion. They could twist and bend in every direction. The eyeless sentinel faces you blankly. You've seen other golems and hovelven endlessly helping with bothersome tasks, but you have no idea what makes them move. It lowers its slab-like hands and steps aside, making way for you. Its head rotates, following your steps, but other than that, it's as motionless as a statue. So entering the yard. Here we are. So I thought I'd already been here before, but I guess maybe I haven't here. The building is whitewashed and the limed age is damaged. The tools are spread around in no particular order. The rocks resting on top of the shed resemble the golems. A few birds stare at you from the roofs, while many more ignore you. None seem willing to approach the garden patches despite the growing, though neglected vegetables. It's quiet here. So let's approach the sitting golem, which I guess is that one. It seems dead and active, as city folks call, but the pneuma still makes its chunks float less than an inch away from one another. It doesn't react to your presence, unlike the previous golem. This one bears engraved signs on its larger rocks. This meaning is unclear, and you can't tell if they're for decoration or carriers of a spell. So if we weren't Axie Axe Girl, then maybe we could actually figure that out. The woman is tall and stands upright, with her arms crossed and legs apart. She's more than 30, with a face touched by lack of sleep. She gives you a long look, observing your blade, hands and boots, forehead, everything but your eyes. I greet you. Without the distortion caused by the gargoyle, her strong voice isn't as disquieting. No surprise that it caught your eye, but don't disturb it. It's very much awoken and will defend itself, or me if it comes to it. So give her a better look. She's wearing a long ragged robe, covered in stains. Used to be blue, but now it's unevenly pale. She's barefoot with skin covered with dust and dirt. Her dark hair was recently washed, but it's untidy, spread to her shoulders, back, and chest. She wears no jewelry, belt, or buckles. Well, what do we say before? Being a little bit friendly ends up making a bit of a difference. I'm glad you have a moment to spare. Yeah, let's be nice here. So she looks at the ground and draws out her words. I sure hope not. I'm not interested in chatter. If you don't need to bother me, speak in the tongue of dragons and barter. I don't serve stew. I don't offer baths. And if you come here, better off from it. She walks past you and cocks her head towards the golem who let you in. It turns around and shuts the gate. Good that you came at such an hour. Keep it up in the future. If you ever come here in the middle of the day, you'll stand outside looking at the doors like an ibex. Oh, so... Wow. It's already been that much of the day. I thought we started off like early in the day, but apparently moving across the map makes a little bit of an issue? Huh. Well, I guess the days are getting longer. We don't need more salutations. Why are you here? So, we do have a few things that we can do. Let me start by asking about Photios, who's asked for a spirit rock, because that's... We do need to go back up to, what's this place called? We do need to go back up to Gale Rocks, because I think there's a better lead on Asterion there than people gave us the first time here. Oh, you don't want to try that. She grabs the end of her hair. It would boil her blood and rip her skin apart. Each shell is like a bottle of pneuma. It has limits. You can train to contain more of it, like I've been doing for more than 20 years now, but there's no magical rock that's going to do it for you. But if you want, I can still sell it to you. So what can we sell? New trader unlocked. Well, I'm not a trader. I do the stuff people ask me, and they're not for sale. She glances at the house and towards the pocket in her hips. There's one tool that I'm willing to part with for 10 dragon bones, but it's for spellcasters only. She reaches out to you in an open palm. You see a small, flat pebble, bluish with no unusual way. You put it in your mouth and press it in a palate. No chewing. If you're a sorcerer, to restore your pneuma. Okay, so we don't need that anyway. So just... This is the spirit rock we were talking about. So we can buy it for 10. Now, my understanding from what we talked about before is we open up a ton of dialogue options, and now places are starting to close out to us. The beholder here is definitely... Oh, what am I trying to say here? We may be able to buy a spirit rock and take it to the beholder to try to unlock it, but I think it's going to take more than one. So we'll have to figure that out. So we're at 4 hours left. Need anything else? We've seen a barren field, so that's the ruined village. A cursed field? Where'd you find this stuff? As you explain briefly, she observes your boots. I know that place, but she steps away and approaches the garden patch of her house. She observes it for a moment, then kneels down, paying no attention to her robe, and reaches for a wooden spade. What she digs out looks like a tree sprawling with 2 leaves that are as large as the hand and thin elastic stalk. It's shorter than your head. Would you look at that? Still green. Give me 2 dragons and I'll put it in a bag with soil. It should survive at least a couple of days. She straightens up. Well, if you plant it, of course, wait for half an hour and you'll see. If it grows an inch, she frowns, raises the plant to her eyes. Forget it. If it bursts into bloom, the soil is enchanted. If it withers, it's cursed. Stays the same, no pneuma. She lowers her voice again. Just be careful when you do it. It loves fogs. So the plant grows by magic? Yes, and it costs 2 dragons. Alright, so we'll have to think about it. We're not going to part with 2 dragons right now. Any ideas where arrow filled with pneumas from? Why? Are you tracing a murderer? She smirks and grabs the arrow and takes a quick look. Black and orange. I don't know much about the wood, but I recognize these feathers. The people of Gale Rocks breed such pheasants. She gives it back. It's in the far north, close to the coast. Alright, so I'm not going to ask about the shortcut yet. We're looking for hunters. Have you seen him? Admon, he was here all right. Ask me about the lands east of the stone bridge to the north. But I couldn't help him much. Those lands are better off. Then she pauses and waves it off. Huh. So I guess it's this bridge. So there's a land east. Okay, so there's a secret entrance that we can't get to yet, I guess. All right. I've heard there are some bandits. Do they bother you? She puts her hands on her sides and straightens up, displaying her unusual height. Is this another sick game of hers? If so, tell her I'm not interested in either her head or her offer. She knows the sudden movement of her golem. Okay, so clearly she knows something about Glossia. I don't want to waste time asking about her story right now. News from old Pagos. She stands still. Come again? When you describe the symptoms, she starts to fidget that finally interrupts you. Cut it. Have you heard about Eulalia and Irenaeus? They're about 50, 55, a mason, a sculptor. Her eyes are getting bad. He has a limp. I never entered the gate. She rubs her arms above her elbows as if to warm herself up. If you ever ride there again, ask around, please. I need to know. So she said that she doesn't offer a place to do here. Let's ask about Asterion now. She raises her chin, challenging look. I know not where he may be, but if he wanted to be found, he'd let us find him. She glances at the gate. On anything else? Let's see here. Have you ever tried the shortcut? We're not going to try it with 4 hours left in the day. Only once, she admits slowly, and that's not a good memory. Her brief tale is rather vague. She once had to use her golems to travel to the other side, seeking a remedy for her stomachache. The beasts were afraid of the noise they make. She pointed at the massive stone legs of the creatures, but the monkeys in far west were too dumb even for that. They kept throwing things at us, even poop. She pauses, making a disgusting grimace. We couldn't reach them or scare them away. You ask what happens next, but she crossed her arms. I was told it's better to ignore them. Just let them get used to one sight. But my stomach was better already, so we just took the long way back. Okay, so if they start throwing poop at us, we just ignore them, according to this person. That's fine. Let's see here. So I'm looking for a job. She stands still for a moment, then cocks her head to the side. I've got some stuff that could use another hand. You up for danger if it comes to it. You nod and ask her what sort of creature's bothering her. Nah, I meant riding and climbing. If you can do it without grabbing an axe of yours, that's fine. Now give me a moment. She opens one of her heavy doors in her house, and you catch a glimpse of a messy bed and a floor covered with clothes. After a minute, she shows up with a large sack filled with rods made of smooth, clean bronze. Here's the gist of it. I need you to go to 8 spots across the peninsula. High buildings, trees, mountainsides. I don't really travel much. She lets out a confident chuckle. So I can't hold your hand. I need one of them in white marshes, in the wetlands far west of here. Other than that, you need to keep your eyes open. Where are the wetlands west of here? Or I guess white marshes are technically in the wetlands, because these are all just... It's like we're in an interesting valley here. She takes one of the rods. Once you reach a good spot, place one of them as high as you can. I'll pay in dragons, 2 for each one, but place at least 4 before you come back to me. I need as many out there as possible. So what are they for? Well, there's magic in them, as you can imagine. You weigh a rod in your hand. Even though it's more than 2 feet long, it's light, empty inside. You can bend it on your knee. The bag also contains a long hemp cord and a scrap of cloth. If I were to send my golems away, let's say a mile or 2 from here, they'd stop moving at all, waiting for me to show up. They carry similar rods inside, so the plan is to give my orders better range, so to speak. I'm tired depending on hirelings, especially since they no longer stop by. She leans against the golem with her arms crossed. Questions? Some of the locals may not be happy. That's true. And I can't be sure that you've no plans to raid the villages. I'm not gonna throw that at her. She's a hermit with golems. How much time do I have? Oh, don't worry about it. Let's just say before the leaves turn yellow, so we have until the rest of the game to do this. The local, she gives you a puzzle look. Wardens do have their ways to get on people's other sides. I'm not going to try to negotiate a better price. We have a deal. Great, just don't die in the road. This bronze cost me many favors, and be sure to leave one of the rods in white marshes. So we can potentially build her trust. That's good. All right. We have some other questions here. Will she tell... I love it. Will she tell us her story? No. Fine. So she really doesn't want us to waste her time. Saw some words on the golems. What are your means? It's not warden, decorations. She doesn't trust me enough to tell me about the words on the golems. Alright, I'm not going to try to piss her off a third time. Let's just travel. Okay, so... How long is it going to take us to get up here? We got 3 hours to get to Foggy Lake. That could work. 3:45 to get to Creeks. So if we can just kind of work our way up here and make sure that the coast is clear... That'd be fine. Let's go to the old bridge first, since that was specifically mentioned as a place that could have a secret here. So, well, apparently we don't know yet. So it's 2 hours and 45 minutes before dusk. Is traveling just going to take longer now, apparently? It's not raining today. So we've got to do something else to find out about the old bridge. Let's see here. Let's go to the cabin. Oh, well, that's fun. The familiar howls make you sigh. The spotted wolves dash out of the meadows, starting their chase anew. It seems like they return every now and then. You look for anything that could teach them a lesson. Now, I could use my crossbow. So this is just bad luck at this point. You have 5 crowls left. You reach the drawn crossbow and a bolt and lock your sights on the closest creature. You wait until you... learn its rhythm, then shoot it once it's in midair. The arrow flies through the wolf's flesh, causing it to let out a pain cry and plunge to the ground. Its concerned allies howl with fear and anger. while a few of them try to keep up, many more stay behind and surround their pack member, protecting it from threats. After a few more minutes, you're alone again, this time at the foraging grounds. Okay, so it's good that we didn't try to move things right now. We are going to have to check and see about the pack here. We're not at day 10, so we can't do anything with the bird. Let's keep traveling here. It doesn't seem like the statue has much of anything, although we could definitely put another fishing trap here. Alright, so let's see if the fish trap had any luck. Wait a minute. I don't remember setting a fish trap here. That's exciting. Okay, so we got 3 more fish. Let's set it again. What's in our inventory right now? 6 whole fish. We have 8 bronze rods. Suddenly we're carrying a bunch of stuff here. Alright, let's go ahead and travel again, because it's just about nighttime. Need to wait a day for the spotted wolves to leave, so we may not be able to do the cabin right away. Maybe we'll be able to do it this time. So once again, another day. That day just flew by, didn't it? So here we are. The foragers are preparing for the night. We don't need to worry about eating just yet. We could sell a raw fish. You know we're by a lake. She laughs and gestures for you to take the catch anyway. There are fresh fish in creeks, salty ones in gale rocks. Maybe try ape ale or howlers or pelts of the north. So she doesn't actually want to eat the fish. Ha! Alright, so let's ask a question about the peninsula here. Let's ask about the old bridge. It must be centuries old, the slab, and will stay there longer than any of us. How about east of Old Bridge? I haven't heard of such a place. Ugh. Old Bridge secret. Haven't heard of such a place. Well, I'm going to have to find out more from somebody, because clearly something is going on here. Alright, well. Groups and places. Old Pagos Monks, Havlavon, Heart of the Forest, Gale Rocks, Creeks, Bandits Camps. Okay, we have a few different things that we can focus on at this point, and apparently we don't have the right words to ask her. I could cheat and look up and see what it's called, but I want to find in the game specifically what it could be. So we do need to sleep. Does she have anything we want to buy? Fresh meals, we have 3 left. We could buy some iron scraps for 6 and try to sell them somewhere else, but let's just do the sleep thing. You're going to get a little uglier sleeping in the attic, but we get a little more vitality back, which could be very important. The moon is bright, and so is the night. You recognize the shapes of owls and bats and spot movements on the ground. There are many stories about the moon's origins and purpose, and they're older than any of the doctrines known in the cities. These legends are shared not by religions, but rather by tribes, as they're a part of a deeper conviction, something spread through the milk of monsters and wet nurses, or through the whispers of the trees and winds. So we could say the moon's a powerful spirit. We could say it's a large rock that one day will fall from the sky. For some reason, it controls the weather. It gathers weak clouds like a shepherd and shapes the tides. It's home to strange animals. They are different but as bright as humans and sometimes visit the land. The moon's up there, and here we are. Who cares what it hides? So it's funny a little bit if we look at... I'm not exactly sure if we have our own information here. Our clothes are worn. We do need to work on our cleanliness a little bit. We have small combat experience. We have hardly spared any animals. We reject gods and spirits. We hardly lie at all. So let's stay consistent here. Who cares what it hides? So we do need to eat. And we stank. We could rest for a little while, but... So first off, if we want to do... Let's look back at the journal one more time. If we want to do the whole moving down of the eastern path, it looks like we're going to have to take care of this big bird that's blocking the way here. We do have the closed tunnel that we can go to. I want to see if we can get... Want to see if we can finally get to the cabin, because both times we've gone through here, there's nothing. Maybe there's a clue for the old bridge as well. Let's go down here. So let's, it's time for me to go travel. And let's see if we can go to the cabin this time. Like I said, I could walk my way up to creeks. I could work my way down here. Maybe this is the day where we go through the center. That seems like a terrible idea if I'm trying to clean out some of this other stuff. But let's start here. The only tracks in sight belong to small critters. The cabin has no window, but a stubborn beast could easily burst through an old thatch. The gust of wind doesn't move the door. A curious ibex observes you from the crag. So let's check on the cabin. You tether Soto to the supporting beam. Curious eyes are tracking the crickets that jump along the grass blades. You stretch your limbs, adjust your armors, and reach for the axe. You eavesdrop first. You sneak forward the door and crouch low. Maybe a minute. A quiet rattle comes from inside, something similar to the sound of cracking knuckles. You peek inside and just barely see a small part of a dusty room. A large spider web is spread among the knocked over furniture. Well, I may need my crossbow. That's true. You remove its protective case and plant the stirrup on the ground. You take a deep breath, pull the string until it locks, and load the coral. I walk in and aim at anything that moves. Hey! A spider looks at you from the center of the web. Its shell's larger than your head. That's a big-ass spider. And the thin legs are longer than your arms. Its countless hair blends in with the walls. They're brown, gray, and cream. What do you do? What do I think? I'm going to shoot at anything that fucking moves. We're going to shoot. Shoot! You aim, and while the spider skitters off, shaking its entire web, you pull the trigger but fail to avoid the creature's spit. The sticky ooze hits your eyes, and now we can't see at all, covering them in glued cloth. The sack of flesh smacks the floor. It clicks in agony. Well, at least I'm a good shot. Your eyelids can't even blink. You drop the crossbow on the floor and sit on the threshold blindly. So I watch out for my eyes. We need to... I mean, anytime you get shit in your eyes like this, you don't just try to let it set. You gotta pull it off. The saliva... Oh, good, we lost a vitality. So, let's see. I apologize for the interruption here. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. The saliva clings tightly to your skin. You rip it off, suffer after every pull, but the results come quick. You slow down when you get to the eyelids. You're grateful for your reflexes. At least you still have eyes, but you see the lights slowly, and then the shapes. The thing turns out to be gray and white. You stand up and look around. The room is covered with a thick layer of dust. Getting through the web could be risky. A single thread won't stop you, but a bunch of them could grapple you for good. All right, so we have a spider here. It's dead. Let's drag the spider web away and throw it into the forest. So you put on your thick gloves and grab the spider once for all. The corpse isn't heavy, so you drag it behind you. You reach the bushes the other road. I'm sorry, I don't know how to, like, pull for, like, venom and stuff. Shake, more distracting twitches legs get. You sit into a tree trunk. It sinks into the thicket, causing a bit of a rustle among the dwellers. So we go back into the cabin. All right. Well, we do know that somebody's interested in spider silk, so I think it's worth my time to gather it. I don't know why we would melt the web. Okay, so here we are. You bring a twig outside and use it as a spool. You don't have much practice in wearing gloves, making the necessary gestures even more awkward. From time to time, the silk breaks, but it shouldn't be a problem for a tailor. It's a material for stitching. It wouldn't need to be turned into cloth anyway. You notice maybe a dozen defenseless spiderlings. They flee towards the exit with their speed limited by tiny legs. They're smaller than a finger. Well, you know, I was thinking before, we haven't had a chance to spare a lot of animals. Most of the animals that are attacking us try to kill us. And if you remember me saying towards the beginning is that Kiera likes animals kind of better than people. So they do have a right to live. The creatures crawl over a threshold and disappear among the grass blades. It could have been the first time they've been touched by the sun. Search the building anymore. Oh, 2 corals. Chest hides a few old water skins and edible stale rations. Among them, however, you find 2 corals for a crossbow, so I'm back to even here. The bones have no obvious owner, but judging by the age and the lack of human-like hands, you doubt they could have awoken by the fogs. The boots, rugged plants, an old sticky tunic, and other scraps are cheap and hide no jewelry. The bowls and mugs are empty. So, That's a cabin. So this area is clear. This area is not clear. This area is maybe clear. We do have a fallen tree that's over here. We have a little bit of time. Let's go back to the old tunnel. Because I only got started on this and I didn't quite finish it. Could I place a bronze rod somewhere? I guess I could. Okay, you find the perfect spot, a small crack between two massive rocks. You use the rod just to broaden it just a bit, then push it halfway to fill in the gaps here. So, hooray, enter the tunnel. So, I go into as deep of the tunnel as I can. So, right now it's 8:30 before dusk. So, we're over here now. We have an ajar door, we have an armory, we have the main tunnel. So, you find no surprises in the armory. We're back in the tiny room. So, we left with the ajar door. Okay, so the cave is moist. The diggers placed planks on the ground, serving as now useless wood to the puddles. The rocks, shaped like icicles, ominously hang from the ceiling, and some spots merging with their on-the-floor counterparts and forming an hourglass-like columns. Well, we've seen that before. So 8:15 left. I'm going to do a quick save here because we're not playing Iron Man mode. Okay, search here. You find rotten planks and explore the cavern carefully, making light dance on the droplets and puddles, but you find nothing of value. Let's try opening the door. The door opens quietly and you return to the main tunnel. You could turn south again and see if there's anything you missed, but after a few times you already realize there's a light at the end of the tunnel, far ahead. It's weak, it flickers like a torch. Okay. So we have some options here. I guess this is the cave with the stalactites. We could head south in the direction I came from. If it's a torch and there's somebody on the other end, and we know that people got trapped in here previously, they may not be friendly, so let me hide my own light. You simply put it on the ground in the entrance of the cavern with the stalactites. You'll pick it up if you need it. South in the direction where I came from. You reach the other side of the cave and getting a good view of its size, you find a new door here. It's a bit tilted and soggy, so I try to open the door. The small iron paddock won't budge. So, will the key work? After a bit of wiggling, hey, I can see here even though I don't have my torch. That seems weird. Not torch, but after a bit of wiggling, the paddock gives in. The door lets out a quiet sigh, and you enter a humble cave that's been turned into a storeroom. Your light that I thought I left here, but is still over there, reveals crates, a pile of timber, a stack of rocks, and other bricks. So let's search the chamber here. You move the building materials aside, taking note of the somewhat dry timber, but the first thing you find of use are the tools stored in one of the crates. The crude axes, hammers, etc. are all old and made of rocks, antlers, and bones. Though they're worthless, you move a few of them close to the tunnel. If necessary, you'll know where to find them. So we're here. You can go to the crossroads. Do I move closer to the light? You put away your light and sneak forward. You pay attention to the sounds of movements, but there's no crackling of a campfire, no wandering of chatter. You see the shape of a gate in the far distance. I look for anything unusual. We're going to try to take this as cautiously as I can. Though you do so in almost in complete darkness, you know something blocking your boot. You crouch and touch the long cord stretched along the ground. In a few spots holding pieces of wood and bone that are meant to make the sound if disturbed. You cut it carefully, pulling the remains of the trap on the floor. Try to get close enough to see who's responsible for the light. Slowly but surely, you reach the edge of the light, but don't dare get any closer. The distinctive shadows belong to unmoving, human-like shadows that have no flesh on their necks and chests. Only bones! Well, good thing I didn't hit their trap. You move back. There may be 3 undead there, if not more. You could prepare some surprises in the tunnel. That sounds like a Home Alone scenario here. To slow them down or even weaken them, but who knows how easy it'll be to outsmart them. So we need to talk to somebody who knows how to do traps here. So let's go back to Sodal. That's fine. Cool. So where else can we go? We have a little more time to kill. We could try to go along the abandoned watchtower path, and that's fine. I guess we go up to Gale Rocks. See what else we can find out about Asterion since we got a little bit of time. And maybe I can spend the night here instead. Okay. By the way, I have rations in my inventory. Selling fish here seems like a really, really bad idea. So I was meant to speak for Cassia for Dalit. That's fine. We have the roomkeeper. There's no fishermen's in sight. We have a tailor as well. The locals scowl about the name Asterion here. So I do want to take a look at the journal one more time here about Asterion. What do we know from Gale Rocks that he was here? Maybe White Marshes is going to be a better lead here, but... So we have White Marshes, Pelt, and Kakios, whoever that is. I should know who that is. According to the monk, Ally was tasked with finding iron and steel for the monastery. It's possible he got them from here, so... Alright, let's speak to Cassia here. Finding her takes quite a few minutes. The other guards claim that she's patrolling the grounds around the village, but you find her sitting in the western road. Once she sees you, she straightens up, greeting you with spread arms. An outsider in our delightful village. Her shout makes you stop long before you reach her. And how can I be of service? Do you need help with bloodthirsty beasts or their treacherous bandits chasing after you? Have you lost the taste for life? Her sudden laughter makes the pigeons fly away. Speak, speak. Well, these people are as friendly as ever. Dalit heard you'd like to be a huntress. Splendid, as long as you can promise. We'll head to Porcia for filling dinner first. I'm ready to leave first thing in the morning. Her voice remains loud, adding to her confident gestures and cheerful stance. She's wearing a decent gabson, but it's lazily put on without tightening the straps and cords, matching her loose, dirty, short hair. She's large, both tall and wide, but has a prominent stomach. The only weapon she's carrying are a club larger than your arm, and she swings it with enthusiasm. Her dark yellow eyes are as large as dragon bones, but you can't read much from them. So, tell me about your talents, and where do I start? She raises her club above her head. I can crush, I can smash, I can catch, I can dispatch. She takes a wide swing and steps forward. I tore out the first harpy head when I was 8. Bare hand, she shows your open palm. Twice the size of most humans. Troll hand, sister called me until She hits the air between the two of you. Are you not satisfied with living here? Great home, great people, she assures you. Great fish and salt. But the beast, the space to grow, she moves her right hand in front of her eye, holding the thumb and the index finger just slightly spread apart, tiny. Fighting is one thing, but the wilderness is definitely something else. You catch her a glimpse of hesitation when she narrows her eyes, but soon she returns to her loud self. Are you this eager to hear the tales of my deeds? Want me to tell you how I lifted the curse blocking the mountain trail? Did you? Or how I led all them saurians away from our pier? Without me, this place, she kicks the wall next to her, would have fallen long ago. Before I ask you to go anywhere, I want to hear what your tribe has to say. Suddenly, she looks down and clears her throat, then points at you with her weapon. You ain't saying you don't believe me, do you, stranger? Before you respond, she bursts in laughter. I guess so. We're a busy tribe. Better not hear you causing trouble around here. Cheers. She says the last words while being turned away from heading to the top of the nearest hill. So we leave her alone. So we have other people to talk to. Rafina, what do you have to say? I'm trying to learn more about Cassius. She doesn't look at you, but her hands start to move faster, and why would I be the one to ask about her? So that's true. Tell me about the ring. She moves into the light, widens her eyes, and speaks with melancholy. I made it myself, I did. As a little lass for someone who used to be madly in love, but now is taken by the storms. He was better at digging than sailing. She puts the ring on the counter. His wife is still around, though. Leave it with me to 2 coins. It would mean a lot to her, so that's nice. I'll definitely do that, and that's a better price than I got offered before. All right, so what can you do for me? We can... Ooh. We actually do need a winged hourglass. Sewing kit would be nice. Gaps and repair kit is too much. How many? We have 8 coins right now, so I'm definitely going to buy this because we can do that in the place. Let's go ahead and repair our armor. Let's repair this too. So we have a little bit of time. We're burning through our cash really hard here. let's see here. So no one else wants to talk about Asterion here. There we go. Our armor's at 3 of 4. Iona the Digger, Fulvia the Roomkeeper. What can you tell me about Cassia? Ain't she one of the guards? Don't bother me with... I don't bother with kids' problems. Speak with Thaddeus there. He trains every fighter in the tribe, he does. Okay, that was weird. I just saw like a whole list of things try to populate. So we did get a name of a new person. Tatia... did I should have written it down. So she wants me to open the tunnel. Oh boy. Okay, this is one of the problems with me not writing things down. So I'm gonna do a quick little thing here that I did say before. I don't want to necessarily do this, but I don't want to like when I mess up things like this. Tatius is the name. All right. Which I guess I could have actually typed something else here. So Tatius. The outer armory is right next to the eastern gate, but you are led behind it through a fence gate to a training ground. You are introduced to Thaddeus, a muscular man who's walking in just his pants, displaying a muscular chest and arms, tanned and hairy, and his dusty, dirty feet. His teenage pupils gathered on the trampled ground also wear no boots and worn old tunics with a mark of blood and scratches on both his skin. The man is looking through a few toy weapons gathered in a barrel. Wooden sword, a few spears with tips on their rags, and similar-looking clubs. After your arrival, the man throws a spear, quote-unquote, into one of the younger kids. Tells the other, get him to like mad boars, and soon after that, you hear a painful thud and cheerful laughter. Then he offers you vivid red cherries, maybe the last ones this season. He might be over 30 years old, yet his wide shoulders, unusual height, and straight posture make him even his kindest words sound like a threat. You need something from me? I'm looking for better equipment. Then you came to the wrong village. We don't sell anything we've stored in our armory. We need those things for ourselves. When you mention dragon bones, he looks away at the fighting kids and orders them to divide the two teams, letting the assaulted spearmen rest a bit. And you know what I do with dragons? Buy blades, he chuckles, while Fake is loud and moves his chest up and down. After you insist that he may want to think about there's nothing for an axe user, such as yourself, you know what? Come, take a look. And you, he points to the teens, a few minutes of rest. Don't lose any eyes. You go back to the armory's door, and after a few breaths, the man shows you a kite shield. So large it can cover half your shell with ease. This is a gift we received, but we don't use such a shape. It's too weird for us. You can buy it if you wish. Or maybe you'd like to grab some corals for your crossbow. We have enough of those. Oh my gosh. A shield. I have a feeling I needed a shield when I got killed by the Howlers. But we're going to buy it now. So we bought a shield and now we're broke. Remember when we had money before? Well, we have things we can sell. We could sell a caviar. We could technically sell the lantern. I had all this money. I had all these plans for all this money that things were going to be good. So that's fine. What do you know about Cassia? He starts to stretch his arms. I don't know what you want from her, but you do better looking for other pair of arms. When necessary, I can put her to use, but she won't listen to an outsider, no matter the coins. That's really good information. All right, so one of our quests, not Glaucia's band. So I need to learn more about Cassia. We can learn about Erastos is in White Marshes, which means we do have an excuse to go to White Marshes. All right, well, while we've got a few hours left here. See, anybody else here? We have Thaddeus the Armorer. We have Iona the Digger. Oh, you know what? Because we get a lot of questions about arrows here. A short man with absent eyes and leaning against the fence, spending his breaks, observes the people gather at the stools. He's wearing a torn shirt patched together from wool in 2 shades of blue and has a long hair and a ponytail. When you get closer, he spins a warm smile. Cheers, stranger. Are you looking for me? That depends, you respond. He tilts his head, observing the sky. Right. I'm Floris. I make arrows, but I don't really sell them to outsiders. It's just our thing, it is. His elbows rest on the wooden planks. His eyes dangle loosely, and you notice that they are very clean and well kept. Unusually so for an artisan. That's fine. I don't use a bow. Then there's no hard feelings, he titters, raises his hands to his head, stretches his back with a yawn, and gets to his stall-like spot, with a workbench covered with wooden staves, knives, sand, flint, quartz, and even obsidian. There are also oddly shaped tools that you can't really name. The man sits down on a chair. You need something from me? Before you respond, you notice the already finished arrows sticking out from the tall basket. They're divided into handspan sizes, bunches, even of which has a fletching of different colors and sizes. You step closer, noticing they also have very thickness lengths and use different materials. Okay, well, let's slow play this. Tell me about your work. He hums to himself for a bit, tilting his head this left and right, looking at various tools and parts of it in front of him. There's a lot to say, stranger, and I won't look for a successor anytime soon. After you suggest that he can be as brief as he would like, he shrugs. Then I don't know. Grab this. He reaches for a stave. Round it with this. He points some sort of tool then at the sand. Then cut the feathers, press it into the nook, and there's the groove there. He lets you take a closer look and carries them. Then I make a proper head all by myself. You tie everything, and there it is, an arrow. Seeing your confusion, he simply clears his throat and gets back to work. Why do your arrows have so many colors? Wow, this is a really long answer. He turns his basket and looks at arrows as if he's just noticed them. Different needs, different arrows, he simply states, as our forebears learned after using many spells and tools to find the best combination of these barren hills allow for. The gray feather ones are for harpies, the blue and yellow critters you want, the skin for furs. You mentioned that there are arrows that have partially orange fletching, yet somewhat different from each other. Right, orange is for shells that walk on 2 legs. If they are also green, they're for goblins. Black are for humans, silver for beastfolk. We don't shoot at trolls, no point. You think about the arrow you carry in your bundles, orange and black. So, made for humans. After you ask about if the different types truly make a difference, he clicks on maybe. I was taught that spells make it so, but I am no enchanter. Doesn't hurt to be prepared. Okay. Wouldn't it be easier to do it a different way? He speaks, more arrows, right? But doing the same thing over and over for hours? He leans away. That would be even more boring. I'd rather die, he says with his exaggerated sigh. We don't need to sell arrows. We just need to have enough of them. After you mention that this method would be used in the city, he gives you a sorrowful glance. Nightmarish. Is Cassie a decent archer? He shakes his head and makes sure he's heard right and snorts. Ha! Why not? She's lucky to have muscles that can handle a club. She ain't getting anything as precise as this. She wags an arrow at you, so we leave him to his work. That's fine. So, we know now from the journal here. Let me make sure my recording time is okay. We're okay. Let's see here. Oh, we need an Empress Carp. We need to talk to Photios, who's not here yet. So that's true. But and bird hunting is close to being here. We do know about arrows here, so let's see if we can find Phoebe and talk to her. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. That's nice. You find her with a few children that are playing tag, watched by 2 elderly women, most likely twin sisters. Her skin tone, nose, and ears help you recognize her right away, even though her eyes are brown and dark. Nothing like the bright green of her father's. Her shell may be present, but she stares at the dusty yard. Ignored by her group, she's leaning against the wall, drawing something on the ground with her foot, without a word or a tune. You ask the sitters if she's all right, and the grim eyes are enough of an answer. A melancholic lass she is. You ask if you can talk to her, explaining that her father has been worrying about her lately, and they invite you with a gesture. So let's talk to the girl. The conversation goes on for a long while. You try not to be too obvious, but she also seems to be just as worried about strangers as her father is. Finally, after a few minutes of your chatting and her vague one-word responses, one of your questions lands. Don't you want to play with the other children? One of the teams lacks a player. I ain't good, she states. After a long pause, simply adds, at games. You stay gentle, asking her who's told her she's not good at games, and after she struggles to find an answer, you ask her about the first part of her statement. My father, she admits. He's saying I need to be better. What made him say that? The conversation starts to go smoothly. She has a vivid recollection of many evenings spent with her father trying to charm a fish, as she calls the spell. You put together the key phrases of her story. She's not trying enough. Her mother would be so sad. She shouldn't do this to him. She better does better if she wants to eat. Ooh. Would you like to be better at spells? She doesn't respond right away. Maybe, if it makes Dad proud. After an irritated grunt, one of the sitters makes it clear that that's enough. So we look for someone else. Let's see here. I just thought of another person as well, because we have all of these things here. Let's see. So we have Fulvia, Uno, anybody else? Because we have all of these buildings as well. So the fishers are still out. Well, you know what? Let's go back into the cave real quick. We've got a few minutes to do this. It's almost dusk. I enter the tunnel. And we're just going to move forward. We don't have anybody with head deeper into the tunnel. Enter the dining chamber. And then if we go into the armory, that's this room, head into the tiny room. Touch the shape of the hourglass with the pendant I own. I could have also crushed the wall. Okay, it's a match. You find the grooves and press. The brick moves deeper inside that bounces back, allowing you to draw it completely. In the secret compartment, you find a key made of bronze. It's as large as your forearm. Okay, go back to Sodal. That's fine. And we're still broke as hell. So it's too dangerous to stay here. The closest place you can find is Foggy Lake. Is that true? Because we can go to Gale Rocks as well. Let's go back to Gale Rocks real quick. We should be able to stay here. Now, we can't sell anything at Gale Rocks. Fulvia. We actually don't know. Oh, we do know who Fulvia is. Fishers return to the village, but the work's still far from being over. The guards instruct you not to disturb anyone after dark and tell you should visit Fulvia, who may have a room for you. Some of the locals slow down to observe you. We have 45 minutes before dusk. We can still talk to Photios here. The exhausted fishers move slowly. Photios keeps his lantern, giving commands to his carrier. Okay, so owe him a male empress carp. I don't know if we want to start that just yet because I have other business I want to do on this side of the map first, although we're not going to be able to fit it into this video. About the spirit rock, you got it? Haven't you asked any herbalists though? Maybe a priest or another enchanter? Have you heard about our previous Roadwarden, Asterion? You nod. In spring, I sent him to one of the great mages in the peninsula, some druid, I think. And that old prick told me there was nothing he could do. You hear that? And I had paid the messenger to learn this. He squeezes the cloak even tighter aside. We have no herbalist here, but since the spirit rocks are safe, I'd rather spend my last coins on such a chance than try nothing at all. Think what you're trying for may be risky because we've heard from the enchanter about that. Why would it be? No one has ever been hurt by the previous stones. So I talked to Phoebe, that's true. She doesn't like the disappointment. I talked to this person, Eudocia, that's true. I traveled the old druid you mentioned. He convinced you need to accept the way the spirit shaped your daughter, Ailey. The voice of the monastery says that you need to forget the tales of being soulless. Not casting spells doesn't make someone less human. Rites tablets are clear on that. So let's start with this. His face turns pale. She said this? After he clears his throat, he squeezes monster's beak on his chest, and then his courage returns. Then you've spoken with her and you know she's crazy. Instead of chatting with people, just bring me what I'm paying you for. Ooh, we're gonna do the Phoebe part last. I traveled to Ailey, the voice of the monastery. How does he? He suddenly scowls at you. Fine, if the monks say the rite says so, I believe it. But wouldn't you try to heal a cut arm or a broken back, even if her soul is well in her? It's going to struggle. So the old druid, spirits! Why would you even listen to that pagan nonsense? He's just pushing his lies onto you. Okay, how about your own fucking daughter here? He looks at you in silence. So these people, and even Phoebe... I need to speak with her myself. He observes you in silence and tells you to wait a few moments. After his return, he hands you a few dragon bones. That's for all the writing. Forget about the stone. He looks north. I don't know what to think about all this. Do you need anything else? Okay, so we just got his money. We know about the Empress Cart for later, but we're not going to do that right now. Is Cassia working for you often? I used to, now I don't. There are a few times she told me she has to guard the gate, but then it turned out she told the guards back home that I asked her for help. She is merely idling about like a child. The Fishers don't need someone like that around. Okay, so we'll deal with the Empress Carp thing a little bit later. Let's talk to the room keeper then. The keeper doesn't acknowledge your arrival until you can call her. After she leaves the tunnel, she says nothing, waiting patiently. Do you know who Cassia is? Rufina's sister? Last time I spoke with her, she was but a small lass. Do we have a Rufina, the tailor? We do. Yeah, I think that's probably going to do it for now. All right. Let's go ahead and just hit the sleep button here, and I think we'll start with another day here. Good thing that I got some money, because we definitely may need some vitality in a little bit. Although it sucks we're going to get dirtier again. She requires an absurd payment or half a day's of labor. So, I can't make it to Foggy's at night, so guess we're sleeping here. For two coins. And it's nighttime yet again, and it's going to be day 10 next, so I know what we're going to be doing next. After Fulvia blows out the candles, without considering if you're ready for it, you're in complete darkness and only now realize how quiet this room is. The thick wall blocks the humming of the wind, birds, the river. The keeper heads to her own room, and you only occasionally hear the whispers of snores of other dwellers. My imagination sculpts terrifying creatures, or I grow anxious and focus on my breath. I hold on to my dagger and focus on the touch of my blanket, or finally some peace. Finally some peace and quiet. I don't do too well with dark silence here. So, we're back in town. We have all these people we could talk to. And we have 14 hours to do stuff with the day. We are going to need to eat, but I think one of the first things we need to do is to go to Foggy Lake. And do I have... What time are we on the recording here? Yeah. You know what? Screw it. Let's just go ahead and do this now. Let's have some fun. Or die trying, I guess. Foggy Lake. Okay, so the grass in the animal pen is here and everything's all available. A bunch of furs are spread over the fence. We're fighting bugs. Let me go ahead and eat some... Okay. Let me go ahead and eat a ration then. Okay, those are merchandises. I just tried to eat coins. That's not very smart. We're going to eat a roast chicken. Which means we need to go back to Creeks to get yet another roast chicken. Let's talk to the foragers. Alright, so... we can do all these things. We could ask about Erastos the Trapper. Hopefully that doesn't take too much time. They exchange looks. We don't hunt all that much, just catch birds, so why don't you try in Creeks? So I have everything ready. I look dirty as hell. I'm well fed. Let's hunt. Ian clasps his hands. Then we're going, idiot. Take care of the horse. He nods to the man with one hand. Ellen puts proudly a rope and a bag on his shoulders, while CV shoves everything under his black cloak. Then they gather by the gate and mock their companion as he toddles towards the lake here. I grab whatever may be used in my bags and scratch Sodal's neck, who's going to be left here, I think. The brook is cleaner than ever as your palfrey... Oh, okay, so we took Sodal with us. Happily takes a short break and quenches its thirst. The statue stands in all of its glory, observing the road. And those of you in it, there's a coin in the wooden bowl. A nice thing, isn't it? Ian thunders behind you. It's older than our home. What'd you say? Chirps Stevie. Don't you have such things in Hovelman on the road? Carrying your belongings on your own. Surprisingly tiring. You make noises with every turn. So do we have statues like this? A few, but I haven't paid much attention. Sure, who cares? They are where they are. We are here. They have no power over this road. Its absent eyes of the statue have nothing to add. So do you know who did this? Nah. Ilan is more focused on the fish breaking through the surface of the lake. It's old. And the woman is a stranger. I heard no stories. My ma could. So it was me who got rid of those bushes. And I thought the beast ate the leaves, but there's no paw prints around. I don't think anyone on the coast is going to kneel before it, says the larger man, though I guess it does look nicer now. So we should move on. So we move forward. Hooray! And here we are. The valley seems especially peaceful today. A couple of lizards are resting on the rocks. Basking with no worries, Ilan points east. The large bird at the edge of the horizon, which freezes in the middle, steps and turns an orange head in a direction. See? Time to get ready. What's the plan? Well, avoid the beak and legs and trample. He pauses. And don't hurt it if you don't have to. We don't want to be a bother. Zevi jauntily drops his belongings in the middle of the road and jumps in place, rhythmically breathing after he takes off his back cloak. He reveals a set of fancy clothes made of black leather. Clothes of a sneaky adventurer. It charges like a moron. Be nimble, that's all. 1 or 2 ropes by the neck and we're halfway home, but don't let it pass you. I take my shield. Ooh, I can handle a charge. It'll buy you some time. Should I also take a rope? I can throw it at the bird and pull if one gets behind me. How about you play the bait? I keep aiming. If things go wrong, I put the bird down. Well, we definitely don't want to do that. Do I want to try to use my shield? Such a wall can't hurt. Just be careful. We don't have magic on our hands. And we can't buy another Roadwarden, so don't make this a bad trade for us. So let's approach the bird. All right. It's taller than Sodal with a wide breast and long, thick, partially feathered legs that could easily trample your chest. Its thighs are thick and powerful. The pointy beak could swallow your entire forearm. Your steps are getting slower. You look around nervously. I need to calm myself. Take a breath. Try to speak confidently. How's it going? Can you just maybe wait patiently in place so the companions can nicely tie you up? Once you get them in the pen with us, you'll have all the rats and pigeons you want to eat. That's what we're going to do. The bird moves forward even more. Even before you finish your sentence, clearly unimpressed by your promises, but the sound of your voice and the illusion of control helps you calm down. Your hands hold your equipment firmly and your legs are already bent, ready to jump. You can handle it. Soon the bird is surrounded by your group and the pond behind blocks the path of escape. Once it realizes that, it speeds up, charging your direction. Take a good look at the monster. Alright, it's tall, wide, massive head. Its feathers are torn by wind that are visibly brown, white, and creamy, longer than your hand span, covering the creature with a cape. Its steps are heavy and deliberate, its neck as long as a limb. It keeps moving around, something staring at you with but a single black pupil surrounded by deep orange. The light gray beak resembles leaves of the local plants. The tip is curved, pointy, and in no way smooth. It carries dozens of grooves, maybe the sign of old age, or maybe a trace of hundreds of hunts. I feel like I should quick save here again. So try to find its weak spot, or it's just a large duck. So it waits no more. It raises its head and makes a long, piercing screech, which fills up the entire valley. The feathers on its neck are shaking, but also waving, moved by muscles. Then it flaps its wings, lunges forward, still shouting, charging at you with full force. Hold my ground, make a quick dodge. Keep my distance and dodge when necessary. Once it charges, I roll away and give a chance to run away. That's not true. So we could try to rope it. I think the first thing we need to do is try to do a quick dodge here. So the giant feet are pounding on the ground. With every leap scuffing the clouds that leaves the sand, it lowers its long neck, pointing at you like one would a spear. You wait to duck the very last moment. In the blink of an eye, you show up at the beast's side, pressing your shell into its large chest. Too large for you to wrap around it. You try to avoid its massive legs, but the monster turns out to be just as confused as you are, making an angry screech and trying to shake you off. The feathers are scratching your cheeks and getting in your mouth. Once the bird gets rid of you, it runs east, not aware that it only helps your companions. So maybe I should try to rope it. Maybe I should try to use my shield. I didn't see this before. Maybe I should try to rope it. You prepare yourself to throw, and the creature gets distracted by the approach of your companions. Your loop lands on its head, so you pull, squeezing the monster's thick neck. It twists its shell in anger, then runs at you, not giving you a chance to choke it. While you may still be in danger, you now have an additional way to stop it from running away. So I could try to do this. I could try to do this, or I could try to let it bonk my shield. We got the shield. We got the quick save. Let's give it a try. You wait until the last moment, and we actually have a force here, so violence or direct threat. You wait until the last moment before raising your heavy wooden planks. You hold them with both hands as if you're trying to stop a rolling boulder. It's too late for the creature to stop, yet it attempts to. It crashes into your side, knocking you away, but you land on your feet. The beast crawls away in a panic, then springs up and runs away, preparing itself for another strike. You think another maneuver. That's when the loop lands on its neck, tightening quickly, and CV shouts cheerfully. The bird remains silent, maybe already out of breath. But then it dashes forward so fast you can't help but step back. It either doesn't understand the danger involved in moving its situation, or it doesn't care about it. It runs forward, trying to flee. It takes 5 jumps. You hear Ilan swear without looking at you. You know he let go of his rope. So we do have some force options here. The beast is in control. Gather on my strength and stand in its way. I've already caught it with my own rope. All I have to do is stop it from getting away. Well, we already have it with the ropes, so let's do that. Oh no. I'm way dirtier again. You dash the rope and start to roll with your hands. You plant your feet in the convenient rock, then pull, feeling a burn on its side, but the strength and weight knocks you down. It tries to get up, but as you keep pulling, fighting against its muscular neck and leg, Elin comes to the rescue. It's now 2 against 1, and the beast can't take as much of a step. Once ZV grabs the second rope, the battle is over. The bird staggers, trying to keep its head straight. Until exhausted, it falls to the ground. Oh, okay, so we lost some appearance because we're dirty, but we win. I guess we win because it says good teamwork. The bird keeps trying to find a way out, but with little luck. Once it regains a bit of strength, it charges at you, but after just 2 leaps, it gets stopped by the second rope. Oh, there we go. It regains its voice, screeching at its tormentors, but there's something more hidden behind its previous threats of anger. Maybe pain, maybe contempt. A damn good job, thunders Ellen. He points at your shield. Nice idea taking this. You daze the shit out of it. His companion nods with a grin. Aye, you're good with the loops, adds CV loudly, gasping his breath after the long run. Better take this. He gives you his own fine quality rope. We won't untie that one of yours anytime soon. Shag me. I missed my throw. He shakes his head in a mix of anger and embarrassment. Good thing we hired you. So if we should go. If anything tries to get us, we'll struggle to keep the bird on the rope. So I say, good teamwork. We're going to stay optimistic as you deserve your coins. You deserve your coins. Alan taps his pouch, but doesn't pull out any dragons. Let's move on. The sooner we get back, the better. The other forger lets you know that he's ready. The runner is still far away, held on by that top rope. I gather my belongings, lead them north, chit-chatting about our hunt, and smelling like shit. Every few minutes, the runner tries to get away, and even though it's exhausted, you have to move slowly, paying attention to its steps. The foragers seem to know what they're doing. At no point they feel threatened by the creature. You keep looking around, but the other beasts seem to stay away. At one point, you notice a blue wolf among the shorter grasses, but it only observes you in silence, standing on all paws as if it's ready to run away. Your anxious companions fall quiet, but you keep moving forward. In the middle of the journey, you think about Sodal. During your stroll, everything seems taller, and the creatures you pass by feel more real, as if they're no longer just shadows you leave behind. Alright, so being on the road without Sodal does feel lonely. So we're back. And we got bird hunt and 5 more coins. Foggy observes you from the top of the stairs with a hand resting on her stomach. Well done, dears. She grins at the side of the runner. Tether it close to the water, love. She looks at you. Be nice and head to Creeks today or tomorrow. Will you tell Ephron we're coming and to give you a bone for the message? She glances at the man with one hand and scowls at the beast. Before she enters the door, she smiles her son. Once you're done, wash your hands and come to dinner. Tell me everything. Tethering the creature, the beam takes a few minutes. Ilan's gasping for air, leaning on his knees while Zavi keeps his posture straight and his red face betrays him. Well, says the tall man, I have your dragons here. Thanks for your work, friend. The ring-shaped bones are covered in sweat. So, there we have it. Success, money. We've got some stuff available to us. We've got more things we got to do, and so far, a shield looks pretty good. So it looks like we are going to be heading to Creeks, and it looks like we're possibly going to be trying to Clear the eastern road tomorrow. The central path is calling me as well. And if I remember right, if I'm looking at my inventory again, because we did get a big bronze key, I think there was a locked door in the watchtower. I hope I didn't already, like, push it down or something. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. A little bit longer than usual, but this is Asher with Roadwarden. I'm having a good time. Thanks for you all sticking around. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments if you want, or just enjoy the listen. We'll do this again soon. You all take care.